Hello everyone, this is John Choi from CM Square. In this video, I'm going to do the whole IB question paper for math. This is 2019 May TZ1 Paper 1 paper. And there are Section A and Section B. Section A, there are 7 questions. And then Section B, there are 3 questions. So let's get started. So question 1. The following Venn diagram shows the event A and B, where PA equals 0.3. The values shown are probabilities. So part A, find the value of P. So P, we call it A and B. So PA is 0.3. So P is 0.3 minus 0.1. Because the whole circle A is 0.3. So P equals 0.2. Part B. Find the value of Q. So Q is inside circle B, right? We know that the total probability equals 1. So the equation is like 0.1 plus P plus Q plus 0.4 equals 1. So we know P equals 0.2, so we sub it back. And 0.1 plus 0.2 plus 0.4 equals 0.7. So Q equals 0.3. Okay, part C. Find the probability A prime or B. So A prime means outside the circle A. So outside circle A is Q plus 0.4. So Q is 0.3 and P is 0.2, right? So A prime is 0.3 plus 0.4 and B is 0.2 plus 0.3. So that means A prime, so that's A prime. Or B means plus the probability of B. But 0.3 is already included here. So we just write 0.2. That would be 0.9. So that's the answer for part C. Question 2 is a vector. A line L1 has the equation R equals -3, 9, 10. That's position vector plus S. 6, 0, 2. That's direction vector. Point P, 15, 9, Z lies on L1. So part A, find Z. So if point P is lying on L1, so we can sub it back to R, right? So 15, 9, C equals -3, 9, 10 plus S, 6, 0, 2. And then we can expand the right hand side. Left hand side, keep it unchanged. -3 plus 6S. 9 plus 0, 10 plus 2s. So the first row we can solve the s, right? So 15 equals -3 plus 6s. So we move the -3 to the left hand side, so plus 3 on both sides. 15 plus 3 is 18 equals 6s. So s equals 18 divided by 6, 3. So now we know S equals 3, and then we sub this back to the last row. C equals 10 plus 2 times 3, and 2 times S, where S equals 3. So C equals 10 plus 6, 16. Part B. A second line L2 is parallel to L1 and passes through 1, 2, 3. What is the vector equation of L2? So remember, vector equation is R equal A plus TB, where A is always the position vector and B is the direction vector. So in L2, the equation would be R equals. So because L2 is parallel to L1, so parallel means they have the same direction vector. We can use the direction vector of L1. So that will be 6, 0, 2 here. And L2 passes through the point 1, 2, 3. So that would be the position vector of L2. So 1, 2, 3 is here. That's it. Question 3. The following diagram shows a right triangle ABC. Point D lies on AB such that CD bisect the angle ACB. So ACD is theta. BCD is also theta. The two angles are the same. AC is 14, so AC is 14 cm. Given that sine theta equals 3 divided by 5, find the value of cosine theta. So here we can use the formula. So formula both circular function and trigonometry. We can use this formula. Cosine square theta plus sine square theta equals 1. Whenever you see the question give you like the sine theta and find the cosine theta, or when they give you the cosine theta and you have to find the sine theta, you can use this formula. So cosine square theta plus sine square theta equals 1. And cosine square theta is unknown. Sine square theta means sine theta whole square equals 1. So 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25. So move this fraction to the left hand side. So 1 minus 9 divided by 25 equals cosine square. So 25 divided by 25 minus 9 divided by 25. So 25 minus 9 equals 16. So cosine theta equals square root 16 over 25, so that would be 4 over 5. Okay, so that's the answer for part A. Cosine theta equals 4 divided by 5. In part B, find the value of cosine 2 theta. So again, we can use the double angle formula, cosine 2 theta. So cosine 2 theta equals cosine square theta minus sine square theta. Or it also equals 2 cosine square theta minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine square theta. So which one can we use? Actually, we can use either one of them because now we have sine theta and cosine theta. But I'll suggest you to use 1 minus 2 sine square theta, because if you find the part A wrong, if you do it wrong, then you will use the wrong value to the formula here, and you will get the wrong answer. So to be safe, you can use 1 minus 2 sine square theta. So 2 times sine square theta is 3 divided by 5 square. So 1 minus 2, 9 divided by 25. So it's 1 minus 18 divided by 25. So 25 minus 18 is 7. So 7 over 25 is the answer. And then part C, the last one. Hence, or otherwise, find the length BC. So BC is here. So we see a big triangle, ABC. Now we can write the big triangle here. I'll just copy the whole triangle. And the angle ACB is 2 theta. And AC is 14. Find BC, right angle. So adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine angle 2 theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse, BC. Okay. So we know BC equals 14 divided by cosine 2 theta. And we know cosine 2 theta is 7 divided by 25. So we sub it back here. 14 times 25 over 7. Because 14 divided by a fraction means 14 times the reciprocal of the fractions. So 7 times 2 is 14, and that equals 50. So BC equals 50. Question 4. Let f of x equals 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 3, and x cannot equals to -3. Part A. Write down the equations of vertical asymptote of the graph f. So for finding vertical asymptote, x cannot be equals to -3. So x equal -3 is the vertical asymptote. Find the inverse of fx. So finding inverse, we have the two steps. The first step, swap x, y. And the second step is to make y subject. So swap x and y and then make y subject. So y equals 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 3. And I'll just copy the same functions. In the first step, swap the x and y. So x equal 2y minus 1, y plus 3. And then make y subject. So you have to multiply this one first. X times y plus 3, 2y minus 1. And we have to expand the left hand side. So xy plus 3x equal 2y minus 1. And then we can group all the y on same side. So xy minus 2y equals -1 minus 3x. Now we can factorize the y. Y times x minus 2 equals -1 minus 3x. And lastly, we can divide x minus 2 on both sides to make y subject. So that's the inverse functions. Okay, part C. Find the equation of the horizontal asymptote of the inverse. So horizontal asymptote is like y equals something, right? Y equals a constant. So the key thing is that the vertical asymptote of the original function become the horizontal asymptote of the inverse because x, y swap. So x equal -3 become y equals -3. So that's the equation of horizontal asymptote. One small tips. So original function, the vertical asymptote become the horizontal asymptote of the inverse. And the horizontal asymptote of the original function becomes the vertical asymptote of the inverse. So that's the skill. Okay, question 5 is calculus, differentiation, or I think it's integration, yeah, because they give you the f prime x and you find the fx, so integrations. The derivative of a function f is given by f prime equal 2 times e to the power -3x. The graph of f passes through the point 1/3 and 5. Find fx. So fx equals integration of f prime x. 2 exponential -3x dx. So how can we integrate the exponential? So 2 keep unchanged. So we just copy the whole thing. We're now integrating the exponential from e power -3x. So copy it times 1 over differentiation of the power -3 plus c, because there's an indefinite integral, we have to add c, a constant. So the answer is 2 over -3 times e -3x plus c. And now we have to find the value of constant c. Now we can sub y equals 5 and x equals 1/3. -3 times 1/3 plus c. So the power becomes -1. So and 5 equals -2 divided by 3 times e. Because the power is -1, so we can move it to the denominator. plus c. So c equals 5 plus 2 divided by 3e. Okay, and now we can rewrite the function of fx. Fx equal negative 2 over 3 e negative 3x plus c, which is 5 plus 2 divided by 3e. That's all. Question 6. The magnitudes of two vectors u and v are 4 and root 3. So magnitude means the length. The angle between u and v is pi over 6 in radian, right? So let w equal u minus v. So find the magnitude of w. So if we rearrange this one, now we can draw two vectors first. So u and v, okay, and the angle is pi over 6. And how can we draw the vector w? So w is u and plus minus v. So going to this direction is v, and going to the opposite direction is negative v. So w equals u minus v. And if we rearrange like this, negative v plus u, so negative v plus u, then that will be the direction of w. So w equals negative v, so going to this direction first, and then going up, plus u. So that would be the vector of w here. So find the magnitude of w. So see, there's a triangle here. And both the length of u and v is given. The length of u is 4. The length of v is root 3. So now you see a triangle with two sides and one angle, and the angle is included angle between these two sides. We can use the cosine rule. So cosine rule is here. C squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine angle c. So when you put the length and angle into this formula, either the sine c or the angle c is unknown. Now angle we have to put pi over 6. So that means the sine c is w, the vector w, the length of w. So magnitude of w squared equals ab. So ab can be either 4 or root 3. Yeah. So 4 squared plus root 3 squared minus 2 ab cos angle pi over 6. So 16 plus 3, and then minus 2 times 4 is 8. 8 with 3 cosine pi over 6. So let's find cos pi over 6. Pi over 6 equals, how can we convert radian to degree? So pi over 6 times 180 divided by pi. So 6 times 30. So that equals 30 degrees. So how can we find cosine 30 degrees? So we have to draw a right angle triangle. (60), 1, 2, 2 and 1 with 3, and that's 30 degrees. So cosine 30 is adjacent over hypotenuse, so which is root 3 over 2. Right? So 90 minus 2 times 4 equals 8. And then root 3 times root 3 equals 3. 3 times 4 equals 12. And that equals 7. So magnitude w squared equals 7. And then magnitude of w equals square root of 7. Must be positive, because the length of vector must be positive. So the last question of section A. A particle starts from point O and moves along a straight line. The graph of its velocity after t seconds from t between 0 to 6 is shown in the following diagram here. So the graph of V has a t-intercept. So yeah, at 0, 2, and 4. So that means the time at 2, 0, and 4, the velocity equals 0. Okay? So the function st represents the displacement of p from O after t seconds. So displacement. One tips for you guys. For kinematic, displacement, velocity, acceleration. Differentiate, let's say if displacement is fx, the velocity will be f prime of x. And then acceleration is f double prime of x. So that means integration of acceleration is velocity, and then integration of velocity is displacement. So let's go back to these questions. It's known that p travel a distance 15 meters for the first 2 seconds. So distance is the area below the curve of the graph velocity against time. So that means this area from 0 to 2 is 15 meters. It's known that S2 equals S5, and integration from 4 to 2, V dt equals 9. So this one means the area between 4 to 2 under the curve of V against t, this curve, and this area equals 9. So part A, find the value of S4 minus S2. So now we can start from here. Integration 4 to 2 V dt equals 9. So that's definite integral. That means the second step is a bracket 4 to equals 9. So integration of velocity is displacement, which is st. And then we can sub 4 minus sub t equals 2 equals 9. So that's the answer of part A. S4 minus S2 equals 9. Part B. Find the total distance traveled in the first 5 seconds. So the first 5 seconds, the distance traveled will be the area below the curve. So 15 plus 9 plus this area. So 15 plus 9 plus the distance traveled here. So we have to write 5 to 4, right? But because this area is below the x-axis, and we want the absolute value, so I will swap the 4 and 5 here. Because usually we put the larger value on top and smaller value on bottom. Right? But we have to swap it because if we put 5 and 4 here, and we will get the negative values. Now if we swap it, and then we will get the positive values. So 15 plus 9 equals 24 plus, okay, definite integral 4 to 5, and st here. So 24 plus sub t equals 4 minus sub t equals 5. So S4 minus S5, because S2 equals S5, so we can change to S4 minus S2. So S4 minus S2 equals 9. 24 plus 9, which is 33. So section B, long questions. There are 3 section B questions. So the number 8. Let f of x equal 9 minus x squared. Find the x-intercept of the graph of f. So finding x-intercept, we can sub y equals 0. X squared equals 9. So that means x equal plus or minus 3. Okay, square root 9 equals like 3, but square we have to add plus or minus. The following diagram shows part of the graph of f. Rectangle PQRS is drawn with P and Q on the x-axis. So PQ is the point on x-axis, and R and S on the graph of f. So R and S, these 2 points lie on the graph of f. And let OP be B. If OP is B, then OQ is also B, because it's symmetric. so that the area of PQRS equals 18b minus 2b cubed. So if this part is b, then the whole the base will be like 2b. The length of base will be 2b. The area of rectangles width times length. So now we have to find the length here, PS. So because point S is on the graph of f, which is y equals 9 minus x squared. If OP is b, so I can say the point P with x coordinate b and y coordinate 0, because point P is lying on the x-axis, so the y coordinate must be 0. And PS share the same x values, so the x value of b, the x value of point S is also b. So what about the y coordinate of point S? So we can sub b back to here, 9 minus b squared. So that means the length here is 9 minus b squared, which is the y coordinate, the height here of point S. So the area equals 2b times 9 minus b squared, which equals 18b. So 9 times 2b equals 18b. 2b times b squared minus 2b cubed. So that's the answer of part B. Hence, find the value of b such that the area is maximum. So area maximum means we have to find the a prime and make it 0. So a prime equals 18, so 18b becomes 80, minus 2b cubed. The derivative of 2b cubed would be 6b squared, and then we make it 0. Right? So 6b squared equals 18. So b squared equals 18 divided by 6 is 3. So that means b equals plus minus square root 3. Okay? But b is the length, so b must be square root 3. It can be negative. And consider another function gx equal x minus 3 whole square plus k, so that when the graph of f of g, when the graph of f and g intersect, so graph f and g intersect, so we can make them equal, and this one equals 0. So when you see two graphs intersect, we can make two functions equals. So part D, 9 minus x squared, so f of x here, equals gx, x minus 3 squared plus k. And now we see one side is 0, that means we move the right hand side to left hand side, but we can expand it first. So x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus k. We can move all these to the either side. I can move the left hand side to right hand side. So we move x squared to the right hand side, that means plus x squared on both sides. So become 2x squared minus 6x. So 9 minus 9 will be 0. So just plus k here. Okay, that's it. And part E, given that the graph of f and g intersect only once, that means if we solve this equations, we solve the x value, we only have one answers, right? So intersect only once, that's discriminant, right? Those are the keyword. So when they have only one intersection, it means one solution. So delta will be equal to 0. So delta equals 0, b squared minus 4ac equals 0. So a is 2, b is negative 6, and c is k. So b squared is negative 6 squared minus 4 times ac. A is 2 and c is k. So 36 minus 8k equals 0. So K equals 4. Okay, question 9 is normal distributions. A random variable set is normally distributed with mean 0 and SD equals 1. So mean is 0, right? Standardized values. It's known that PZ is more than -1.6, so this area equals A, and PZ is greater than 2.4 is B. So yeah, these two probabilities A and B. And that's shown in the following diagram. Part A, find the probability between -1.6 to 2.4. So this area. And we know the total area equals 1. So that means this area is 1 minus A minus B. Part B, given that Z greater than -1.6, so that means this area. Find the probability Z is smaller than 2.4. Write down your answer in terms of A and B. So given that, finding probability, so that means conditional probability. So we can use the formula here. Conditional probability, PA and B equals PA times PB given that A. And I will make PB given that A as a subject. So let's rearrange. So that equals PA and B divided by PA. And remember, A is the condition. Condition is here. So given that, it's put in here. And now part B. So let's write it like this. Given that Z is greater than -1.6, find the probability Z is smaller than 2.4. So which equals P Z greater than -1.6 is in the denominator, and the numerator is probability. Z is more than -1.6 and also smaller than 2.4. So the numerator is the answer of part A. So 1 minus A minus B. And the denominator is Z is greater than -1.6. So that means this area, which is 1 minus A. So that's the answer of part B. Okay, part C. A second random variable X is normally distributed with mean M and SD S. It's known that Px smaller than 1 equals A. Write down the standardized value of X equals 1. So standardized values. So actually these two normal distribution graphs are related. Let's draw the normal distribution curve for random variable X. The mean is M, and for X smaller than 1, the area is A. Okay, so find the X value, find the standardized value of X equal 1. So you see, the area are the same, they are both A. So that means, remember this is standardized value because mean is 0, SD is 1. All these are standardized values. So that means the standardized value for X equal 1 is -1.6. So part C, Z equals -1.6. Okay, part D, last part. It's known that P x greater than 2 equals B. So find the value of S. So it's the same. The probability is also equals B. So that means 2 is here. And B is here, right? Now we can say that the Z value of 2 is 2.4. So that's the Z value of 1. Now we have two Z value. Right? We can find both mean and SD. using the formula z equal x minus mean over st. So the first equation is z1 negative 1.6 equal x. Z value and x value. So x is 1 minus mean over st. And then the second formula is like z equals x minus mean over st. Now we have two formulas here. So we'll solve it simultaneously. And we can make s subject here. So s equal 1 minus m divided by negative 1.6. And here we can make s subject, s equals 2 minus m divided by 2.4. And now we can make these two equal because they're both s subject. 1 minus m divided by negative 1.6 equal 2 minus m divided by 2.4. And now we can cross multiply. So 2.4 times 1 minus m equals negative 1.6 times 2 minus m. And now we can expand it. 2.4 minus 2.4m equals negative 1.6 times 2 is negative 3.2 plus 1.6m. So we can move negative 3.2 to the left hand side. So that means 2.4 plus 3.2, 5.6 equals 1.6m plus 2.4m. So that's 4m. So m equals 5.6 divided by 4. So that is 4 times 1 is 5, 16, so it's 1.4. So if m is 1.4, then we can sub it back to either one of the formula here. So s equals 2 minus 1.4 divided by 2.4. So 0.6 divided by 2.4. So it's 1/4. So that's the answer. S equals 1/4. Question 10. Consider f of x equals root x sine pi over 4 times x, and gx equals root x, for x is greater or equals to 0. The first time the graph of f and g intersect at x equals 0. So part A, find the two smallest non-zero values of x for which fx equals gx. So part A, f of x equals g of x. So root x sine pi over 4x equals root x. And now we can cancel root x. So equals 1. So sine pi over 4x equals 1. And sine angle equals 1. We can draw this sine graph. 0, pi, and 2 pi. And when y equals 1, it's pi over 2. So the angle equals pi over 2. But we have to find two x values. So we have to draw one more period here. So 2 pi and then 3 pi. So which means the other intersection point is like 2.5 pi, which is 5 pi over 2. So pi over 2 and 5 pi over 2. So x equal pi over 2 times 4 divided by pi, and also 5 pi over 2 times 4 over pi. So pi and pi cancels out. 2 times 2 equals 4. So x equals 2. Pi and pi cancels out. 2 times 2 equals 4. So 2 times 5 equals 10. So these two is the non-zero value of x. Part B. The set of all non-zero values that satisfies fx equals gx can be described as an arithmetic sequence un equals a plus bn, where n is greater or equals to 1. Find the value of a and b. So arithmetic sequence. The first term is 2, the second term is 10. Common difference equal u2 minus u1. 10 minus 2 equals 8. And for arithmetic sequence, we can use the formula finding un. Un equals u1 plus n minus 1d. So u1 is 2, n minus 1 times d, which is 8. So we can expand it. 2 plus 8n minus 8. So that is negative 6 plus 8n. And that means A equals negative 6. B equals 8. Part C. At point P, the graph of F and G intersect for the 21st time. Find the coordinate of P. So actually, the first time they intersect is 0. But that's not U1, because U1 is 2. That means the 21st time it intersect is the 20th term, the 20th non-zero value of x. So we are not finding U21, we are finding U20. U20 equals negative 6 plus 8 times 20. Negative 6 plus 160 is 154. So find the coordinates means both x and y. So that's the x coordinate. And finding y coordinate, we can sub x equal 154 into gx. So g154 equals square root 154. So that means p is 154 and square root 154. And lastly, part D. The following diagram shows part of the graph of G reflected in the x-axis. So which curve is G after reflection in the x-axis? So Gx is root x, and root x is like this. So when it's reflected in the x-axis, it becomes this one, right? So that means this curve is the graph of G reflected in the Gx. And the function becomes negative outside, right? Negative root x. It shows part of the graph of f. So this one, the wave shape is fx. And the point P with coordinate 154 and root 154. We'll just find it in part C here, right? So find the expression of the area of the shaded region, and don't calculate the value of expression. Just find the expression, do not calculate, right? So area between two curves. We can use integrations. So integrations from this point to 0. Okay, but we have to find the coordinate of this point, the x coordinate. And we know that the intersection between f and g, so here and here, distance is divided by 8. So we just find the distance here, 8. So if that's the midpoint, so which means here will be 154 plus half of the distance, 158. So that's the x coordinate of this point. Once again, so the distance between these 2 points is 8. So but here is the midpoint. So that means plus 4 and plus 4. These two distance. So equally separated. So at this point, the x value is 158. So the boundary is from 0 to 158. And since the area is between two curves, I'll use top minus bottom. So that's the skew. The top curve is fx, root x sine pi over 4 x minus the bottom curve, negative root x. So minus negative root x is plus x. So that's the expression for the area.